Levi Trumbull reporting with Shaun Porter and Eric Beasley outside of the Frederick County Courthouse in Frederick, Maryland. The criminal cases for the 3 defendants that Charlotte Aufdem-Brinke had filed criminal charges against have all been null-prossed by the state of Maryland. And here we have one of the defendants right here, Shaun Porter. We have another defendant who did not want to be on camera, but we're going to briefly read a statement that he gave me on the record.
Charlotte Aufdem-Brinke is a serial abuser of our judicial system and is a pathological liar. I am pleased that the state recognized Miss Aufdem-Brinke's fallacious allegations and immediately dismissed all criminal charges. Miss Aufdem-Brinke is no victim. This victim of Miss Aufdem-Brinke is looking at all legal options to rectify the 2.5 years of abusing our courts, harassing this person's family, and disparaging their character, plus lying in court documents. As you recently reported, Levi, she admitted to the courts in one of her own peace orders that she had lied in her peace order petition.
Yes.
So she's admitted that she has committed perjury, that she has lied to the courts, and it looks like this victim's not going to be taking it anymore.
Yeah.
They're pulling a twisted sister on her.
Well, yeah, you say victim, that was one of the defendants in the case, but
Yes.
the case just got dropped, so
Well, defendant and victim can be different,
exactly. You can be two, it can, be at the same time. All right, so I want to talk to Shaun Porter. So all the charges against you, you had 6 misdemeanors. They all just got dismissed. State didn't want to prosecute. What's your instant reaction? Right there?
F them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to take the time to thank Special Prosecutor Natasha Blount.
Boo.
From the Howard County State's Attorney's Office.
Boo.
A wonderful facility, a bunch of great people there.
Boo.
Love the Howard County
Boo
State's
liquor.
Attorney's Office. Wonderful work, big fan,
Boo.
guys. And she had magnificent blonde hair, so you know, it is what it is.
I mean, that's fair.
So
Blonde is your type, that's for sure.
Blonde is definitely my type.
So I was there to witness everything go down today, but tell me how it was from your perspective. I know it was very quick. It was probably a minute.
That's what she said. So, yeah, basically, it was just a formality. If I didn't show up, it'd be failure to appear, warrant out for my arrest. They'd send the helicopters. The men in black would come for me. The other 2 defendants got attorneys to stand there and take all their money. I, of course, knew what was going to happen based on the fact that I consulted with my esteemed attorney and you consulted with a different attorney, and I decided that I would spend the money on White Claw instead of lawyers, because the White Claw Corporation needs my money more than anyone on Patrick Street could possibly need it.
Why are you so basic?
I'm a basic white boy.
Yeah, like pumpkin spice season's coming up,
I love
right?
pumpkin spice season. It's
God.
my favorite. I drive a Jeep.
Jesus.
Just live with it.
So, as I know both of you are familiar with, she had a peace order against a different defendant, and within a 2-week period after her filing of that document, she turns around and states that what she wrote in that sworn peace order application was misinformation and misunderstandings. And I know that you've probably seen that, the report I've done on that. What's your reaction to that?
Well,
one of the defendants.
I mean,
she's going after.
It's ridiculous. Thank God she admitted against that defendant and that was the defendant that got it worse than anyone. My heart really goes out for that particular defendant. Mm-hmm. Long story short, that defendant was lucky enough that she, I guess, found remorse in her heart somewhere and felt bad for all the horrible things she had done to that defendant. Not me and not the other guy, but the most recent ex-boyfriend. And she admitted to the court she committed perjury and she lied and she misrepresented the court in writing under oath. And basically, she can't testify for the state ever again, because any good attorney will just dig up the paperwork and see where she admitted to committing perjury, because she was mad. And there's actually documentation. She actually communicated to people in writing where she stated this, so it would have come out anyway. But long story short, it's great that she admitted in that one case, but then she tried to let the other cases remain, because she's just a vindictive psychopath who loves to eat cookie dough right out of the tube. Her blood type.
Hey, whoa. You've just crossed the line. There's nothing wrong with eating cookie dough out of a tube.
Inorganic, non-organic, with GMO.
It doesn't matter. Cookie dough out of a tube is an entire food category.
Eric, why did you want to be here today? You weren't one of the defendants. You weren't one of the defendants that Charlotte was coming after. What was the significance of your being here today?
So the reason why I came here is because A, I am a ardent supporter of free speech, and I'm an ardent not supporter of corrupt government officials like Charlie Smith and like the entire Howard County State's Attorney's Office, who actively participate in the weaponization of the judicial system and the government in order to silence a dissenting view. Okay, simple as that. So Charlie Smith has gone after multiple political opponents in persecutions. Ones that you reported on too, Levi. You reported about Chelsea Kadish, the chief of staff of Jessica Fitzwater, who Charlie went after with a felony indictment for child abuse, and then all of a sudden steadied it for 6 months and sent her to parenting courses. Like, if there was actually probable cause that she abused that kid, then she should be in jail. But it was never about sending Chelsea Kadish to jail. It was about Charlie exercising the last vestige of Republican power and influence in this county. There will be no Republicans elected in a countywide office in 2026. And so he is throwing out the last little bombs that he can to harass and all of his political opponents. Here's going to be the real test. Charlotte Aufdem-Brinke admitted that she committed perjury. She lied. Misinformation is also a lie. Okay? She needs to be arrested and charged with abuse of 911, with filing false police reports, all of that. Like, Shaun, you posted the body cam footage. How many times did she call the cops and say, "Oh, there's somebody in my basement and I think that it's Shaun Porter"?
Four times, 3 times for me and 1 time for a previous ex-boyfriend.
It is 100% on Charlie Smith to pursue Charlotte Aufdem-Brinke with criminal charges for this gross perversion of our justice system. And if Charlie Smith does not, then just like I've been saying for years now, Charlie Smith is part of the problem. He cannot sit idly by while there are corrupt activities and people abusing the justice system in that way and not do a damn thing about it. So Charlotte Aufdem-Brinke needs to be indicted and hauled into jail immediately.
He talked a lot about the fact that the state's attorney's office for Frederick, Maryland should prosecute Charlotte.
Yeah.
The only problem,
Lock her up.
The only problem that I can see with that is that Charlotte Aufdem-Brinke, I don't think at her size they can even get handcuffs. They're going to have to put 4 or 5 of them together to get around, because she's like 300 pounds now from she's eating her feelings, cookie dough.
Hey now.
Lots of it. And Ben & Jerry's, her blood type is Haagen-Dazs, every other joke you can think of. She broke her leg and gravy came out. Charlotte Aufdem-Brinke is really Charlotte Awful Skank.
I thought it was Awful Stink.
Awful Stink, Awful Skank, Awful Fat. Yeah. I can document and attest to at least a dozen times she committed perjury on the application of charges with me. She said I conspired to give her a heart attack. Oh. How do you conspire to give someone a heart attack? How does that work? That's not even a thing. She literally put that in there, and a commissioner said, "I find probable cause. We're going to make this dude come into court for 10 minutes.
I'm okay with spending whatever money it takes to make a cell at the Frederick County Adult Detention Center large enough for her and her ego.
Let's just put bars on the outside windows of Costco when they move to the bigger facility on the other side of town.
But then that would only have food for like a week for her.
That's true. Okay. I mean, one Costco, well, it is close to Sam's Club. It's just, they can shuttle the food over.
Maybe like a conveyor belt.
Tanker.
They can just have a conveyor belt. She can just lay there and let the food fall into her mouth.
Yeah, we've covered a wide range of topics here. I guess a good way to close out would be is just what's next from here, because, and I'll just recap once more. Charlotte goes down, she files 3 complaints, 3 criminal complaints against 1 defendant, another one against another defendant, and then 1 against Shaun Porter. Effective today, all of those are noelle proseque is the Latin term they use, meaning that the state's not going to prosecute those cases. They die as of today. What's next for you?
Well, I didn't really give this any thought, except for it might have caused a scheduling conflict with going to drink beer and ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
But essentially, everybody involved, except for the most recent ex-boyfriend, is going to be filing civil suits against her and then seeking criminal charges against her for perjury and for malicious prosecution. I don't know if there's anything in the criminal code about malicious prosecution. I know there's this, like, you can sue civilly, but I'm looking for what could possibly apply criminally to this woman besides outright perjury and lying to the court under oath.
You have the floor, Eric.
Yes, all right.
Out.
So first off, if Charlie Smith does not prosecute Charlotte Aufdem-Brinke, then he needs to be primaried. And the Republicans in this county need to say, no more Charlie Smith, no more pedophile lovers, none of that nonsense, okay? Charlie Smith is gone. He is kicked out. He cannot sit here and protect this woke BLM activist from her own lies to the court. He needs to prosecute her and make an example of her. She has done everything that is, like, she has single-handedly destroyed the Me Too movement in Frederick County by these outright false allegations. But it goes deeper than that, Levi, because I know the backstory here, and I know how many people Charlotte Aufdem-Brinke has lied about, has committed perjury about, how she has claimed to be the victim of all sorts of these abusive people. But guess what? Now it turns out she's a liar, and she admitted it.
All right. Levi Trumbull with Eric Beasley and Shaun Porter. Two innocent men today.
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 At least today.
Today.
In Frederick County, Maryland.